Why did I decide to go to Vietnam and come back to Zimbabwe? Welcome to Cecilia Talk Show. Then you will not make the same mistakes that we have done. That's why we are there. In this video, I want to tell you about my journey to Vietnam, the life in Vietnam, and why I decided to come back. Welcome aboard. After all the struggles of trying to get a free COS to go to the UK, I decided to go to Asia. After I got an advice from a friend that in Asia, teachers are wanted. Teachers who teach English to kindergarten students. That friend of mine referred me to an agent who was in Harare, who were assisting people to go to Asia. She helped me with the paperwork that was required for me to go to Asia. All was done and I bought my ticket and I decided to go. When I reached the airport, Harare airport, the guys who helped me on the process of boarding the plane, they even asked me, where is Vietnam? They didn't even know this country called Vietnam. On arrival at Vietnam airport, Hanoi, the capital city, I was picked from the airport and we grabbed a cab to the apartment that we booked. So all was in order. And when I get to the apartment, I found out that I had some other Zimbabweans who went there as well to look for jobs. You know, the agent told us that with the tourist visa, you can go to Vietnam, and when you get there, you get jobs on site. It will be very easy to get jobs on site. And when you get jobs on site, the owner of the job processes for you a business permit. Then you'll be able to work there using a business permit. Then after that, you get your work permit visa. All was well. We went to Vietnam. I was so happy to see other Zimbabweans. They were also applying for jobs. They were busy applying, and most of them, they got their jobs. But most of us, we couldn't get some jobs. It took time for you to acquire jobs. You know, we were told that you'll be paid 1.5 US dollars. And that agent will help you within days, you get a job. But guess what, when you get there? Yes, the agent was there who assisted us with getting some jobs. But instead of us getting 1.5, we were told that we'll get $500. Now, for you to get $500 after applying, and now after some months, 1 month, 2 months, no job. The third month, my tourist visa is about to expire. What should I do? Should I go on visa run? Some of the guys, they went for visa run in Hong Kong or Malaysia, the neighboring countries. But I thought to myself, should I spend more $400? Should I spend some more money to go on visa run so that I'll go out of the country? Then I'll come again with a tourist visa back to Vietnam. For me, it wasn't worth it to work for $500 there in Asia. And I thought myself, in Zimbabwe, will I not be able to get that $500? Will I not be able to get that money? And remember, these are not only Zimbabweans who went to Vietnam. A lot of people were flocking to Vietnam because China was now stiff on work permits. So they were opting for Vietnam. So most of the people, they were going to Thailand and Vietnam. And we were not only Zimbabweans, even Nigerians, Ghanaians, Congolese, even the Philippines, the South Africans, they were all there. There we are in Vietnam. You couldn't go out as much because of costs. We were always indoors, applying. Time was almost up. I decided, why can't I go back home? Why can't I just go back home? I can't work this far for only $500. I thought to myself, is it worth it? Considering the environment, considering the stress of abroad, considering the work itself, I got to manage to work for $500. And I have to look for money to come back home. And I have to phone guys from Zimbabwe to buy a ticket for me so that I'll be able to come back home after 3 months. And on my stay there, guys, life in Vietnam, I want to tell you the life in Vietnam. Life in Vietnam. Life in Vietnam, it's not all that difficult. The food is not all that expensive. Rentals are expensive. But if you compare the rentals in Vietnam and Zimbabwe, in Vietnam it's quite expensive. But lucky enough, if you get a job there, the company will pay rentals for you. Oh, there'll be no problem. People who did go there on tourist visa, some they managed to get jobs, but most of them, they are struggling. They were struggling, guys. They are struggling to make a living. And they can't come back here. They are scared of coming back home. The environment in Vietnam, guys, environment yekokwaite ikati kudzeni chishona. When you get there, unonyatsofunga kuti kuZimbabwe kwakanaka. Smell chete yema Asian foods, you will not afford it. Chikafu chavo chinosmela, environment yavo inosmela, vanhu vacho vakawandisa. The water in Vietnam is not safe to drink. The water that comes from the tap is not safe to drink. You always put it in dispenser or you boil it. Havana noise nemunhu maVietnamese. Vietnamese are so peaceful and they are so quiet. Kana vachitaura vanotaurira pasi, hautombonzwa voice ravo vachitaura. Vakanyarara and hakuna noise. Unongonzwa noise chete mabike. Their mode of transport is mabike. Because vakawandisa vanotoshandisa mabike. Chikafu chavo chinotengeswa kuenda kumarket kwavo, so nhonza hako hakuna. Nhonza hakuna. Chikafu chavo chakachena. Asi zvinotoda kushinga kuenda kunze kwenyika uko. So akushinga unenge washinga nhamo inenge yakutuma kuenda kunze. Asi pamwe pacho it's not worth it. Vanhu vari kutambudzika kunze uko. Vamwe vajaira zvavo, vakungoraramira izvozvo. Asi zviri kunze uko zvakaoma, guys. Kunyanya vari kuAsia uko, vari kuVietnam. Vazhinji vakadzoka after macontract avo apera ekuChina, vakazoenda kuVietnam. Instead of coming back home, vakatrega tiende kumaneighboring countries. Ndo vaizoenda kumana Thailand nekuVietnam. My advice to all those who want to go abroad, if you are dealing with an agent, don't listen to everything that they say. They lie. Those guys, they lie. Don't listen to those guys. They give you half-baked information. They will lie to you because they want money. We did went to Vietnam. Yes, tourist visa, you could get a job with a tourist visa. But for them to assist you to get a job, that was a lie. For you to be paid 1.5, that was a lie. And you are there already. Now you are facing reality. What you do. In terms of the weather conditions in Asia, it's quite different. It's quite unpredictable. You will not see the sun. It will be cloudy. Every time it's cloudy. When it's cloudy, it will be very hot. You will sweat during the cloud and you will sweat. And anytime it can rain. That's Asia for you. You rarely see the sun. And the apartments that are too squashed. The people are so many in Asia. There are so many. And the apartments, they are small. So that they can accommodate the number of people. And the roads, they are too... But what I liked about Vietnam, you can walk even at midnight. You won't be scared. Vietnamese, they're so peaceful. Vietnamese, they are quiet people. You rarely hear someone shouting. There's no shouting in Vietnam. Those people, they are so peaceful. The only noise that you can hear is about bikes. Motorbikes. Their mode of transport is motorbikes. There are a lot of motorbikes. That's the noise that you can hear. Not of people shouting. Everyone will be indoors. When he's coming out, he's on his motorbike and going. You rarely see people walking up and down the road. Vietnam is a quiet country. In their money, there is value in their money. If you try to change the US dollar into Vietnamese, it's quite expensive. But if you use their Vietnamese, it becomes cheaper for you to stay in Vietnam. That's the good part of Vietnam. But otherwise, if you are using US dollars, it's expensive. When my visa was about to expire, I asked my sister to buy a ticket from me from Zimbabwe for me to come back to Zimbabwe. And I did come back to Zimbabwe. I couldn't manage to work for $500 in Vietnam. I couldn't afford it. To wait for a job to come and to work for $500 in Vietnam. I couldn't afford. I thought if I work in Zimbabwe, I could get that money. If I hustle in Zimbabwe, I'll get my $500 without stress. I'm home. I don't have pressure. I don't have stress. So I decided to come back. That's why I come back to Zimbabwe. I couldn't wait for $500. I couldn't risk my life to stay abroad for $500. I couldn't. So I decided to come back. My advice to those who want to go out of the country, whether you want to go to South Africa, Mozambique, Botswana, Asia, UK, do much research. Do much research about that company that you are going to work for. Do much research about that country that you are going, so that you will not be surprised when you get there. Better off these days, no more tourist visas that are allowed in Vietnam. You are going with your paper as people in the UK are doing. You get a job when you are still in your home country and you go with all your papers ready. Better off. But to those who did go during my era, last year 2014 early, they struggled. Most of them, they struggled to get jobs. They struggled. And some of them, they're still there with the help of their aunties that are in the UK who will be sponsoring them. They are stay there. That's why they are there. With the help of their parents, they are still there. What about if you don't have a parent with money? What about if you don't have a relative who have got money to sponsor you when you're abroad? What do you do? So that was my journey to Vietnam. My journey was something else. Yes, I decided to do other things. Instead of me waiting for the applications to be responded, I managed to venture into another business of wigs. The Vietnamese hair is quite good, guys. Vietnamese is good. They have got good hair. So most of the people, they order their hair to Africa. Vietnamese hair, it's expensive and it's original. I could order some hair, buy and shipping to Zimbabwe, buying and shipping to Zimbabwe. So at least I didn't make a loss. I didn't make a loss. That was the good part. I could go to their trade fairs. I could get contacts on where to order some stuff. And now I'm doing business. That's life. If you miss another bus, you get another one. I missed the bus of getting a job in Asia for kindergarten, but I got another opportunity to sell wigs in Zimbabwe. The Vietnamese hair is expensive. The Vietnamese hair is quite original. It's not synthetic. It's original hair. So that was me in Vietnam. Most people who are abroad, yes, I'd meet some people, they really made it, especially those that went early. It really worked. But now the environment is saturated. So people are too many out there, and that cause a lot of havoc. That cause a lot of problems. So those who really benefited with this going abroad are those who went early. 5 years, 10 years ago, those people, they've benefited. But to those who are going now, it's a hassle for you to survive. Yes, abroad is good. Yes, abroad is fine. It's excellent. But if it's not working for you, please don't be scared not to come back home. Come. Most people are staying overseas. They're staying abroad because they're scared, they're shy to come back home. For the sake of being said, I'm overseas. Surely you can't stay overseas when it's not working. You can't stay there for the sake of just staying there. I'm in overseas. People will say I'm in overseas. I don't think it's proper. So imagine the people who got jobs on tourist visa. Vietnam is no longer issuing business visas. You go for visa run every 3 months. Every 3 months, you $400 for visa run. You pay $400 for visa run every 3 months. And if you calculate 500 times 3, less 400, 1.1 in 3 months. That's abroad for you. Kindly subscribe to this channel, Cecilia Talk Show, so that you will not miss any update. You will not miss any information, any life experience. You will learn from other people's experiences. You will not make the same mistakes that we have done. That's why we are there. Kindly subscribe and share. Thank you.